In today's video, we're going to be discussing how to grow out your hair color and go back to natural. Have you been yearning for those naturally illustrious locks after a riot of colors? It's not as tricky as you might think. So stay tuned, take out your pen and your paper. Let's dive into the art of gracefully transitioning from vivid hues back to your genuine shade. Welcome and welcome back, everyone. It is Kayla, your favorite beauty educator. I'm so excited to be talking with you guys today. Let's get into our video. Most of us, if not all of us, have gone through a colorful hair phase. I know I have. We've all had our fair share of hair colors, from bright red to deep purples. Some colors we loved, but others we might have regretted and outgrew entirely. I remember when I started growing out my hair out after rocking a platinum blonde pixie for years. It was challenging figuring out hairstyles because my roots were still dark and my ends were still platinum blonde. If you're beginning your healthy hair journey, you've probably come to understand that consistently coloring your hair, it can be damaging. Frequent color and chemicals in general, they can prevent growth and ruin your curl pattern. If you've colored your hair and you're searching for a healthy way to grow out your color, you've come to the right place. Growing out your hair color is a lengthy process that requires patience and dedication. Different awkward phases will have you itching to grab that box of color and do your hair. However, if you want to get back to your natural hair color, you'll have to resist the temptation and understand that the destination is much more satisfying than the journey. Trust me, your hair will thank you once you've grown out all of that color and begin your healthy hair journey. Growing out your hair, it can be challenging, but trust me, it is worth it. Follow these tips and get that clean slate that you've been yearning for. From highlights to fully lightened hair to darker locks, the first step to growing out your hair color is to allow some time for your roots to grow. Before you begin this process, please be aware that patience is key. So, how do you know when it's time to go back natural? Most of us love to switch up our looks by changing our hair color and adding a few highlights. No matter the method, our hair strands, they can become damaged if we're not careful. Chemicals in hair color and lightener, they can significantly dry out the hair, creating brittleness and breakage that will be difficult and sometimes impossible to fix. But luckily, more and more stylists recommend putting the box of color down and rocking your natural hue. Thanks to social media, especially Instagram, finding a stylist that's willing to help you grow out your hair color will be super easy. So start planning. Before reverting to your natural hair color, you'll need to plan. Working alongside a colorist can help you find the best means to what you've been trying to achieve. Make sure that you let your stylist know what products that you've been using. Also, if you have pictures of your natural hair color before you colored your hair, be sure to show them to your stylist as well. Prepare yourself for the weeks of growth that will have your hair looking a little wild, especially if your natural hair color and your current hair color completely contrast. By planning accurately, you can absolutely manage this transition, which will surely test your patience. So, say so long to highlights. Highlights are lovely and a great way to add radiance to your overall look. However, sometimes highlights, they can be tiring to maintain. Highlights can also be disastrous if not done right. There are different types of highlights that require various kinds of growth processes to create natural looking locks seamlessly. Let's say you've gone the balayage route. Your transition will be much smoother. Just visit your stylist every 6 weeks for a routine upkeep and you'll be back to your regular hair color in no time. If your highlights start from your scalp, it'll take way longer, of course. No matter what colorist you choose, they should use low lights to contrast with your highlights and space them out. By doing this, you'll let your natural hair color and your highlights blend to create a multi-tonal look. This will help reduce the effects of the highlights that you want to grow out. Now, let's say you'd like to soften the contrast between your natural color and your highlights. Your colorist should use a toner to create a middle color that'll help ease your standard color back into full effect. Now it's time to say bye-bye to the pastels. Within the last few years, the unicorn hair trend has skyrocketed. This trend is a vibrant and exciting way to spice up your look, but not necessarily a style to keep for more than just a few months. So if you're over being a unicorn, you'll need to take the steps to get back to normalcy, or at least be a unicorn with not such bright hair. Thankfully, these dazzling colors are not terrible to ditch. In most cases, unicorn dyes are temporary and easy to wash out. You won't have to worry about waiting until your hair grows out. Typically, your hair color will fade, and by this point, you should be visiting your colorist. You'll need to apply an all-over non-toxic dye that can minimize discoloration. It should be your natural shade or something close to it. Also, your colorist may suggest even adding some highlights or lowlights to add depth to your hair during this time. It may seem pointless because you're trying to get back to your natural color, but trust me, it will absolutely assist you during the process and help you maintain a healthy looking style. Let's talk about banishing the bleach. There are plenty of reasons why we decide to bleach our hair. Sadly, bleaching is the unhealthiest route when it comes to your hair. So while it is fun to have platinum or silver hair, your hair can definitely look dry, brittle, and even damaged over time. Reverting to your natural color from a bleach color is the most prolonged process needed to grow out your hair color. The first step to growing out your bleached hair is to have your colorist apply a dye that is just a few shades darker. You'll have to repeat this method multiple times. You want to use a darker color each time until you reach your desired natural color. After achieving your natural color, your roots will grow and blend with your hair. It would help to use a hair mask to also help prevent your hair from dehydrating and becoming even more brittle and overprocessed. As mentioned before, this process will be lengthy, but trust me, it is totally going to be worth it in the end. Now, let's say you need to come out of the darkness. The transition from dark to light hair, it can look more awkward. With dark roots, transitioning from light hair, it is easy to pass the phase as an intentional ombre, but the opposite is somewhat trickier. Going from dark hair to light, the ombre excuse won't cut it. The color changes will look super awkward, and the best way to manage this is to be patient and take the proper steps. It'll be tempting to bleach your hair to match your lighter roots. Due to the way bleach can be damaging, that's not the best idea. You'll need to rely on your colorist deeply for this kind of change. As you work with your professional licensed colorist, you'll have to take things slowly and gradually work with your highlights to ensure that you blend your multi-tone hair in a less noticeable way. You'll need your colorist to give you subtle highlights to help lighten your overall look until you're back to your natural hair color. If you accurately plan, this phase won't be so bad. Now let's talk about some alternatives to dyeing to change your hair color. If you ever want to change your look without committing to anything permanent, there are various ways to get a new style without causing any real damage. First is going to be clip-ins. If you're looking for a color change, you can get clip-ins or even purchase a wig. Clip-ins and wigs, they will allow you to get a color change that isn't permanent, but it'll be instant. We can also use hair mascara. Hair mascara is a small wand that applies like eye mascara, but it's used on hair instead. There are many colors to choose from. Now, this next one, I know you've seen this on social media, the hair chalk. You can also use hair chalk, hair pastels that you can pick up at any craft store. In the beauty supply store, you will also find colored hairsprays. Colored hairsprays are super temporary, so be careful that you don't end up with patches in your hair or on your pillowcase. You can also opt for semi-permanent hair color. The aforementioned color techniques, they typically take 2 to 4 shampoos to take out. Another way to add some vibrancy to your look is to use a semi-permanent dye. The dye isn't like regular hair dye because it sits on the outside of the hair cuticle and it is more like a stain than a permanent change. The good thing about a semi-permanent color is that they last way longer than chalks and hairsprays. Semi-permanent color, it usually takes between 4 to 12 shampoos to remove. Then we have the demi-permanent hair color. The next way to add color to your look is to use a demi-permanent hair color. Demi-permanent hair color isn't as harsh as permanent hair color, but it is perfect if you want something to last a little longer than the previously mentioned methods. Demi-permanent hair color, it takes between 12 to 28 shampoos to remove. Now remember that when you're choosing to use any of these products, you must ensure that you use the right products for your hair, especially if your goal is healthy hair. Now, let's discuss the benefits of growing out your hair color. There are many benefits to growing out your hair color, but the most important is healthy hair. Now that you've heard our tips on growing out your hair color, here are some key pointers. Number 1, resist. You want to resist the urge to color your hair while transitioning your hair. Number 2, find a licensed colorist. Make sure you find someone to help you transition and maintain healthy hair. Number 3, plan. Once you decide that this is the journey that you want to take, you want to make sure that you plan and plan again to achieve your desired results. And lastly, you want to remain patient during your hair journey and enjoy the fresh, new, and natural looks. I hope this video provided some essential facts for you to start your healthy hair care journey and grow out that color that no longer serves us. I thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let's talk about your journey to healthy hair. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Peace out.